welcome to the Sigma Show, episode 124. I am your host, Sigma. Just before I let you know who's joining me this week, real quick, we'll go over what our topics shall be. First up, the Fallout TV series, which we've known about for a long time, finally got its first trailer after releasing some really cool Vanity Fair images. And we'll talk about, I guess, what our expectations for the show are now that we've seen what it has to present in trailer form. I've personally seen some mixed reception, so we'll get into that. And the Game Awards is nearly here. Previous show, not last week because we were off for holidays, but the previous show we talked about what we thought of the nominees. But this week I wanted to sort of have a bunch of projections as to what we'll maybe find out about. The Game Awards is known for having a bunch of big announcements every year as well. So I also tagged a little cheat sheet from like another gaming site's articles about what they suspect might be there. So to give some people some stuff to ruminate on, but we'll get into just full on speculation. But to be honest, that section may not take a ton of time. We may not even get there because I was just kind of filling for space, if I'm being honest. But here to talk with me about these topics, Honey Money,
Hello.
Jamate,
Oi oi, it be me.
and Superman Jeff.
Yep. How's everybody doing?
Welcome, everybody. Glad to have you back on the show. What's up, everybody in chat? I see you out here. I need to actually move chat in front of my face instead of over here. So let me do that.
So you have
Real
to
fast.
break your neck.
Yeah,
to read
like I'm
it.
just it's a whole head turn. Welcome to the Sigma Show. As we tend to do, we like to start things off with letting folks talk about what they've been playing, what they've been watching, stuff they've been doing in general, if they care to share. Anybody feel like going first? No, nobody feels like going first.
I'm trying to
I
think
always
about what I
talk the
played.
longest, so I always want to go last. Because I hold everyone up.
Mine's quite quick, so I guess I'll
Yeah,
first.
go for it.
Not been playing much. I've been very, very busy, for obvious reasons. But what I have been playing, I've been playing the new set of Teamfight Tactics, which is League's like auto chess battler.
Yeah,
Really
I
digging it.
completely forgot about that game. Like that's like still going and releasing
Oh yeah,
new
yeah.
stuff.
They have like they call them sets. They have new sets where they completely change all of the champions. They all get new. Everyone who comes in gets new abilities. They mix up everything. And in this new set, they've added it's like music themed. So each one of the tags has its own music genre, and every time you switch between them, the soundtrack in the back changes to that.
Oh,
So
that's
there's
kinda
like
cool.
a metal theme, there's like a jazz theme, and when you fight someone, you have like a mix of the genres. It's really cool.
That's real. You know what that reminds me of actually, and this is gonna sound like a complete ass pull, but them's fighting herds is
Oh,
is
yeah.
that
Okay.
that
Oh, the
furry
cow fighting?
yeah, it was
Yeah.
like a furry
Yeah.
My Little Pony based fighting game. Each
Yeah.
character has a theme, and when they face off against each other, those themes mesh into like
Yeah.
the background track,
Yeah.
and that's like something really cool that like just fighting games don't do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what these guys have done, and it's really cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
And I really dig it. And it's just also a really neat game to just kind of like put on in the background. You can play it with one hand and just like you're concentrating, but you're not. I want to find a way to define that kind of play style where it's like you need to concentrate, but half of your brain isn't, and it's this weird relaxation where you're not fully switched off. But
I
I
think
love that.
I think there, and I could be super wrong on this because I'm pulling this from like old college courses, but I think there's a psychological term for when your brain goes on autopilot for something that you do all the time, and
Oh,
I think
that's
that word
flow
is
state.
a schema.
A schema. Yeah, interesting.
I think that's what that's
I'll
called.
look that up because I'd really like
Yeah,
to
chat.
do some more.
Find out if I'm a liar.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like I really like that kind of middle ground between I'm not really concentrating, but I need to win. I was streaming the other day, and I just to end the stream I played one, and I was just not paying attention because I was explaining how the game works, which kind of sounds like you're speaking in tongues if you don't play the game. But I was concentrating on that so much that I kind of forgot about the playing part, and then I was like, oh, I'm actually doing really well, even though I wasn't concentrating. And I'm not trying to say that's skill. That's just because, I switched off a part of my brain and I was just doing.
Yeah.
And I love that. I always find when I play multiplayer games, if I'm talking to someone, I tend to do better, and I don't know why.
That's
And it's
interesting.
weird. Yeah, but yeah, not
More
much,
immer-
not
more
much on
immersive.
apart from the stuff I'm making videos on and stuff. TFT has been my main kind of hustle at the moment.
Okay, nice. But not so you haven't been like watching much either in that regard.
I finally got around to watching The Last of Us about a week ago, and
Like the HBO
I
series.
slept on that. That was good. That was really good. It was really nice
It
to
is
see
good.
all the changes. But yeah, I'm about to finish Berserk. You
Ooh.
guys, I'm not sure on the camera setup, but you might be able to see.
Oh yeah, I can see
my
the
stack.
little sliver of a stack of
Um,
books.
Yeah, I'm about to finish Berserk. Well, finish Berserk. Rest in peace, Miura.
Mm.
Yeah.
But my God, that series has taken me on a journey.
I need a way to get into it that doesn't involve reading. They've not done a good anime adaptation as far as I've heard,
Well,
right?
that's one of my predictions. For what I think is going to be announced
Well, at the Game Awards?
the Game Awards. Yeah.
They're gonna
I
announce a
think,
Berserk
and
anime series?
this is 95% wishful thinking and 5%.
You might get another Berserk game. I remember the
bullshit.
old Berserk game for what was that, Dreamcast? I think that was.
There were some good Berserk games, and
Yeah.
I think because the one thing that reading Berserk has confirmed to me is that Miyazaki is a hack fraud, and
Oh, man.
he can't think of things that are an original, so he just steals them from Berserk. Literally, almost every other page is like, that's just Dark Souls. Like,
Mm,
there's a city that near the end of the series. I won't say what it is because it's all big spoilers and stuff. But I was like, that entire city, down to every detail and the tree, is in Elden Ring.
wow.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, Miyazaki.
Just
And
like,
my theory, and this is, like I said, it's 95% just wishful thinking. I think FromSoft are going to come out and say, we have bought the rights to Berserk, and we are making a Berserk FromSoft game, and it's just going to be the series but
Huh.
playable. I'm so
wow.
down.
Wow.
That's
I
what
mean,
I want.
they've gotten away with it for this long. It seems redundant to then go back and
Pay
like, all right,
for
well,
the
now
right.
we just have
Yeah.
the name.
Yeah, well,
Until people start to notice. After today, everybody will notice now. So
I want to
We'll have
I
no
want to
choice.
make that video. I want to make a video that is
Just exposing Miyazaki as a fraud.
And it's just comparisons between Berserk and Dark Souls.
That's really
'cause
funny.
It would be like a 2-hour video, but yeah, it's insane.
Nice.
But yeah, reading, watching, playing, working, all of that good stuff.
I have a
Sweet.
question for you. Since you mentioned that, like, do you think we'll get like Dark Souls in other media, like an anime? I mean, I don't want to see a live action movie, but like an anime adaptation or something like that.
That's interesting. I've never really thought of it in that way, but now you mention it, that would be quite interesting. Like
Mm.
actually getting a more literal adaptation of, like, say, the story
Uh-huh.
of Dark Souls and like Gwyn and like Gwyn's lineage and stuff like that. That would be really interesting because they're hidden underneath all of the not really storytelling. Is a really interesting story.
Right. Yeah.
So I'd love to see that adapted into a different medium. Maybe an anime. That would be cool.
I honestly
Yeah.
feel like I have heard rumblings of some sort of like live action adaptation. I think there's a comic book story.
There is a comic.
Yeah, there's a
Oh,
comic
yeah,
book
I didn't know
adaptation
that.
that was made.
Is that Dark Horse?
That sounds right. That it was Dark Horse that did it. But I'm curious. I mean, like, yes, the obscurity of the Dark Souls storytelling and Elden Ring storytelling and whatnot is part of like the appeal and when you
Yeah.
play the game, and it
Yeah.
works in the gameplay setting. Who knows if it will work on its own in just a storytelling medium? So I'm wondering if that would hurt or help it at all if they decided to go
Yeah.
that route. But
Mm-hmm.
I'd be morbidly curious enough to watch.
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna say that it can't work or that it will absolutely
Yeah.
work, but I'd be curious enough to check it out.
There is a graphic novel. I would think the story, like you said, there's a lot of underlining stories that they tell under other stuff, like the First Flame, like Gwen and everybody. I think there's a lot of story they could tell in an anime and actually tell it right out as opposed to being so ambiguous,
Mhm.
during the game.
But then again, Vati Vidya just does such a good job of making
Yeah,
content on it. I think.
Yeah.
just go watch that if you want
Have
the
him
cinematic
screenwrite it,
storytelling
and
of it.
then you're all set.
Yeah.
But yeah, does that do it for you, Jamaic?
Yeah. That's it for me.
Nice. Anybody want to jump in next? I mean, I
Um,
can go.
I- I'll go quick. I have
Yeah,
really
go ahead.
barely have anything. I haven't played much of anything. I think I've watched a few anime. I'll just Fear in the Beyond Journey's End.
Wait, say the name of
That's
that
a
again.
new
Fearin?
Yeah, what?
Fear in Fear in
Fearin.
Oh.
Beyond. Yeah, Beyond Journey's End. It's about an elf who's was part of a group of heroes who took down a demon king, who kind of outlived all those other heroes because she lives for thousands of years, and her
Mm.
kind of reflecting on how a lifetime for them was but a moment for her, and how that kind of made her feel remorseful with them passing, that she didn't take the time to get to know them, because to her she just saw them, you know in her eyes a couple days ago, a couple weeks ago, but for them it was years. And her story of taking on an apprentice and dealing with all the emotions that came with actually realizing that she misses them and that she should have spent more time with them. Um,
Mm.
it's a it does a great job at storytelling. The animation is really good, and it actually has some combat in there as well, which has been pretty good. So I've been watching that.
Where's
Um,
that at? Is that
uh,
on Netflix or something?
Crunchyroll. It's on Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll. Okay.
Yeah, Crunchyroll is on there. There's another one called My Daughter Left the Nest and Became an S rank adventurer. This one's
Is this
more.
another isekai?
It's not an isekai. It's not an
Oh.
isekai. It's generally about a hero who retired to a small village, found a little girl in the woods, raised her up. She went off to become an adventurer, and it starts off with her every time she's supposed to go and visit him back at home. A new emergency pops up where she has to slay monsters, save people, and for like almost a year or longer, she just never gets back home. And eventually she does, and it kind of goes through that story and tells a story between them two. It's not super deep, but it has been pretty good so far. Um, and I think that's all I've been watching, I believe. Oh, Shield Hero season 3, that's been really, really good. Season 3 so far has been better than all of season 2.
Hmm.
Just with the storytelling and moving the premise a lot further. I feel like 2 really didn't go anywhere, but 3 has been really good.
Yeah, I can
A
barely
lot
remember
more.
two, honestly.
Yeah, it wasn't very impactful. Like they went somewhere else and to another world, did some other stuff, and then
That was the one with, like
it
the
was.
ship, like there was like a big flying
Well,
ship or something.
yeah, it felt like a filler arc to me. That's what it kind of felt like to me. But like 3 is kind of back to moving the story along where they originally came from, and kind of more character development for not only some of the 3 main characters, but also some of the other heroes who have kind of just been, not around for the most part.
Hmm.
So that's been really good. And playing, the only thing I've played we started was Remnant 2.
Yeah, we we
Um,
tried at least.
yeah, yeah. That's not the best game to play on the cloud. It's not very, the textures load very slow.
Hmm.
You know how like some game, I remember I played PUBG when I first played it. You would land on the ground and sometime and the world would still be building. So you could literally
That's
just
weird. Cause I
walk
thought
straight and a house would build on top of you. It's not that bad, but like the textures are very blurry until you're like standing there for a little bit and then they kind of start to clear up a little bit.
that's it was really weird to hear you say that because the way I thought like Xbox's cloud services worked was that they had like server farms of like powerful Xbox equivalent PCs that were running the games, and then they're just streaming it to you. So like for it to have texture popping, that means something's going on the way the game is running in their server.
Mm.
Because it looks like a 360 game if I'm being honest with you. I don't know if that's just
Oh,
me or the way
that's
the game
crazy.
looks. Like, is it a pretty game? Because like I
No,
didn't get
like
to see
no,
that yet.
Remnant is not a bad looking game. Like it's not like mind
Okay.
blowing, but like yeah, it's got art design. Like it's graphically intensive.
It
It
has
It's
art.
got art design. It
yeah, it
has
had
it. It's there.
they drew colors.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was hard. It was hard to say. Like, it was hard to see that through the cloud play. So I did download it and I'll try it natively. But that,
Mhm.
yeah, it was like, and I also felt like I was like running behind like what I wanted to do versus what I was doing. But I'll try it natively and see if that's a difference. That's the second game I played on the cloud. The other one was State of Decay 2. I played for a little bit, and that wasn't the best experience either. But
I've never tried
oh, and
like graphically intensive. Like I always look for like, oh, this is like a more casual 2D art style type thing. That's the only ones I've ever attempted to try. Like I played some Spiritfarer via cloud. I wanna try Sea of Stars and see if I can get through that on cloud. But like, yeah, I never tried like the bigger games.
You know, it wasn't the best. And I think that's part of the reasons why. It did say there were a lot of people trying to play it on the cloud. I don't know if that's a thing.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Mm. And then the last thing I think I watched, I'm sorry to go back, was Invincible, the last
Oh, yeah.
episode before the break.
Season break.
And
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I heard that they split the season in half, so I probably will wait until all the rest of it is out before I jump in.
Yeah, I'll wait too.
Like it looks dope. Like I was anxious to see it come back, but not if it's half the story.
Yeah, I wasn't
Yeah.
rushing to see it, but then when I watched it, I got kind of hooked on it. I was like, oh, well, I'll watch this. As before I knew it was going on break until after the holiday. I was like, oh,
Mm.
well, yeah, I would have waited otherwise. But yeah, if this is the first half of the season, it's not going to be that many episodes. It might be like 8 episodes or 9 or something,
That's about how
which I
much
guess is
the
kind of the
first
norm
one was,
now.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I don't
don't
think there were that
remember.
many.
Yeah, that's starting to become like the norm now. There's not really those 24s or more
Yeah,
than 10
I
episodes
guess it
seasons.
depends on like what's like the prestige, I guess, of the series. Like when it's like a big deal, even if it's animated, they're like, all right, 8 to 10 episodes, but they'll make those episodes about an hour long at the very least, which I think that's fine. Like 8 hours to tell
Yeah,
a full season story, like I don't think that's that terrible.
no, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Nice. Honeyman, you said you wanted to go last.
Yeah, I talk so much.
I feel that in my soul as well. Not about you, about me.
I mean, it'd be true about me, so hey, that's fine.
But yeah, I've actually been able to watch and catch up on a couple of things. So I guess I'll just go down the list. I already talked about my love affair with Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, like the Netflix sequel series.
Yeah.
Like enough time has passed. It does not tell the same story of the movie or the graphic novel. It veers
Oh.
off in a really cool direction, and like I really think any fan of that series should watch it and check it out. It does set itself up for more seasons, but like the folks have already said that they don't plan to make a season 2, which I think is a
Oh.
lie. Like that sounds like a lie. And like the show, from what I can tell, is very popular. Like people are praising it left and right. Like it's still in like that top 10 list that Netflix has, or whatever. I'd be very surprised if they did not try it again. The biggest issue I think would just be the star power around it.
Yeah.
Like they have like a lot of A-list talent that came back to do this. But the thing is that cast really liked each other. Like there's like behind the scenes stories about like how much fun they had, and like they still are in like a group chat with each other, like from way back then.
Aw.
So like they were all super happy to come back, which is half the reason why they were able to get everyone, because they all really loved working together on that franchise. So I'm pretty confident that it'll come back for a second season. But fingers crossed, because Netflix and TV execs and
Yeah.
all that stuff. But because I'm still so obsessed with Scott Pilgrim Takes Off, as I did with all the other versions, I went and found the soundtrack. And I was honestly pretty disappointed
Oh,
in the
no.
Takes Off soundtrack. It's like the show itself didn't do as much with music as I would have wanted. Like the game and the movie do a lot with music. Like Alan Monoguchi, who was a really famous like chiptune band, did all of the music for the side-scrolling beat 'em up, and that album is fantastic. The movie, like they had Beck make like a bunch of, I'm pretty sure Beck did all of the Sex Bob-omb songs. Like he like created them as if he was a garage rocker, and then like the actual actors played those songs and sung those songs. Like Metric was one of my favorite bands of all time. Like I discovered them via Scott Pilgrim, made made a single for that game, and like Brie Larson sings over Metric's music for that for the movie soundtrack. So like there was so much more effort I felt put into those than this one, where it's like the tracks from the show are maybe five or six tracks that are pulled from the actual show. Two of them are new Sex Bob-omb songs, which are good, not as good as anything Beck made. Like but they do sound like Sex Bob-omb. They're decent songs. They're just not as good as like what Beck made on that original album. And then the rest of the tracks are like sound clips. Like one is just like a quote that Scott says from the movie, and like why'd you make this a track?
Oh,
Yeah. That's cheap.
Yeah, but then like if you look at the album track list, it's like maybe 30 something songs on it. The rest of the songs are all ambient music from Anamanaguchi and a second producer whose name escapes me right now. And just none of it is anywhere near as good as anything that was done prior for that franchise. Like it's something you could probably put on in the background and like vibe to, like study to, whatever, and that's fine. But like based on what came before, like I really wanted something else that I could just play and like really be into, and that's just not what that album is. So that was unfortunate. So since I didn't get my Scott Pilgrim fix there, I said last time how much the TV series reminded me of Fooly Cooley or FLCL, that anime, which is very hyperactive and also very indie rock inspired. That also introduced me to the Pillows, a J rock band, which is another one of my favorite bands of all time. I'd already watched one of the 2 sequel series that came out for Fooly Cooley like years and years later, Fooly Cooley Progressive, and then went and found Alternative because I for whatever reason I thought I'd watched them both but did not. So I started Alternative. And Alternative, I've only watched 2 episodes so far, but God, like the Fooly Cooley universe is just fun as hell. Like it doesn't matter what they're doing. Like the only recurring character is that space witch Raharu or Haruko, whichever name she's going by at the time. But like the pink-haired girl who like flies around on the guitar and like smacks stuff with the guitar or whatever. Like she's the only constant in all 3 series. But like all the other supporting characters are also delightful in their own way. Like the world is like very normal and like slice of life and like endearing, and then she shows up and then all hell breaks loose. And it's like you're pitting like her insanity with like just the normalcy of everyone else, and like that juxtaposition is just really, really fun to watch bounce back and forth off each other. Yeah, Silverware Malware says the Pillows and FLCL is a match made in heaven. Yeah, it's such an excellent backdrop for that show. And they went back and they're continuing to use Pillows music in the new shows. Like the Pillows didn't make anything new. So like this time, since I've been listening to the Pillows for years and years, since the 2 other series came out, now that they're playing stuff, I just know all these songs. Like I don't have to be like, oh, this is a cool song, let me go find out what it is. Like, no, I know these songs. I've listened to all these albums.
I've
But
never
I'm
gotten
having a great time. You
Never gotten the Fooly Cooley. Never gotten the Fooly Cooley. It wasn't,
Me
I mean,
neither. It's tragedy.
It's a bit
It's a
deranged.
classic.
Yeah, it's a bit deranged. I can see why maybe someone
Yeah.
wouldn't get into it, but it is
I've
very
been meaning
wacky.
to.
If you go in with an open mind, I think there's definite stuff in there to like, especially the music. If anything else, like if you don't like the story at all, the music is still freaking phenomenal. But outside of Scott Pilgrim and Fooly Cooley, I finished Warrior season 3, which is the HBO series. Now HBO.
Oh, that was
HBO
really
Cinemax.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, that show was fantastic. And season 3 was like especially like fun to watch. Like it does a really good job of making all of its characters both good and bad. Like you're rooting for characters who you know are really shitty. and you're like just waiting for them or hoping for them to like become better people. And then there are characters who are like goody goodies who are also kind of being pulled in dark directions, and like you get why, like you understand their reasonings for like doing that sort of thing. So everything has nuance. All the situations bounce off of each other, and it's a. If you don't know what Warrior is, sorry, but it's a
I do not.
It's a period piece that takes place in like I'm forgetting the year, like the early 1800s.
It was around
San Francisco.
Japanese started traveling to San Francisco.
Well, it's the Chinese.
Yeah, Chinese. I'm sorry. Chinese started to travel to San Francisco. You
Yeah.
had the Chinese, the Irish. You had a bunch of different groups.
Yeah, like it's all about like early American immigration and like how racist America was back then and how
Is this the
little
one-
things have changed.
Is this the one that was kind of based off of
1870s. Sorry.
1870?
Yeah, the 1800s.
Oh.
Is this the one that's connected to Bruce Lee and
Yeah. Like Bruce Lee did some writings, I think, in regards to the story, and like they took those writings and turned it into like a full-fledged series.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. Like there are more than one character in the show that could be a stand-in for Bruce Lee himself. Like the main character for sure, but there are a couple others who are also kind of like, oh, this is another Bruce Lee in this story.
Yeah.
But like on top of its story, because it's talking about the race relations of that time period. Like it's just a hotbed of just competing cultures and
Yeah.
ideals and capitalism and like how all those things are bumping up against each other. There's like gang warfare, there's political intrigue, there's and like it's from all these, it's almost like The Wire in that way, like how that show was like, oh, look at this, look at Baltimore and look at all the different disparate pieces of Baltimore and how they work in their own section and how those sections influence all the other ones. Like that's how that world is built. But on top of that, it's got amazing kung fu action. Like there's dope ass fight choreography all up and down every single episode. Like there, without spoiling anything, a dude gets back suplexed onto a cross and impaled in a church.
Ooh,
And it's like it's such
okay.
a sick ass ending to a fight scene. So like as intriguing and as like thought provoking as the story is, like it does not shy away from just being brutally action packed.
Okay.
Where
Like
can
it's
you
so
watch
good.
this?
HBO.
Max.
Yeah, it's on Max.
HBO Max.
Oh, Max.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
not H. Yeah.
it should be on English Now TV. I'm gonna watch it. I'm literally gonna write this on my bloody hand.
Yes, please do. More people should.
Yes.
Like if you're not watching
is
it,
good.
please watch it because
It's right up my alley as well. So
that story is not done yet, and they better not
And-
effing cancel it.
What this does is what I wanted the Badlands to do. But
Yes.
the Badlands started to get too
Yes.
out of control. Like it kind of started. It started that way, and then it definitely deviated.
Yeah, the Badlands had
After
like a
that first-
good world, but the story it told was stupid. But its action was great.
And here you have both.
Yeah, here it's knocking it out of the park from every angle.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah, George Lucas just brought up Into the Badlands as well. Yeah, that show started off with potential and then did not live up to it. Its action was always
Yeah,
good
that-
though.
It started to deviate from. The story was just, I don't know, got out of control.
And then finally, in terms of watching, I caught up to One Piece some time ago, but the arc still hadn't finished. Like they were still wrapping up the arc. Like the fight's finished, but like they were still like doing their whole celebration and like getting their updated like bounties or whatever, which is like tradition in One Piece universe. So I finally went back because there are a couple more episodes popped up, and I watched all the bounty reveal stuff and like the end game stuff where they fill in the characters on what's been going on elsewhere in the world, because like I really love that about One Piece. Like after an arc is finished and you've been dug into like this situation with Luffy and his gang, they remind you like, oh, there's a big world out there, and all those other characters you've met elsewhere, they were doing stuff while Luffy was doing stuff. And so like they're filling you in on all that stuff, and the stuff they're telling you that happened during this arc is wild. Like craziness has occurred in the One Piece universe, and I'm so excited to see what happens going forward. And I know that people already know because of the manga, but I don't read manga, so please respect my religion. Don't tell me anything. Don't tell me anything about what is actually happening, because I will not read the manga. I want to see it animated. Please.
Yeah, I mean, and it does
I'm
do a
same.
great job. Like, and I don't know if there's another episode that came out too, which is still kind of wrapping up.
Yeah,
stuff
I saw
happened
that.
in the
Yeah,
Wano
so I
arc.
gotta watch that too.
Oh, okay. So that like that, and it wasn't like just small things happened too. It's like so much happened.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, we just went through something that was huge, and now we're seeing all this other huge stuff happen, and it kind of reshapes the structure of like relationships in the One Piece world. So
Yeah, you know how like
this-
The Rock was going on about the power dynamic in the DC universe changing?
Right,
That actually
right.
happened in this.
Yes.
Like it wasn't just BS that Dwayne Johnson
the
spat.
hierarchy of power has definitely changed after this one.
So yeah, like that's great. I can't wait. But I'm gonna have to, because I know as soon as this arc is actually wrapped up, it's gonna be like 1 million episodes before we get any actual storytelling. So
Yeah.
we'll check back in maybe 2 years from now on what's going on in the One Piece universe. 'Cause that's
No,
how
if
long it
I'm
takes.
being honest with you, it's just nonstop now, because what Oda said is this is after this arc is the last arc, and that could be like 4 more years, but it's just gonna be non.
Yeah.
We're getting into like the
Go
final
Brandon.
stages of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because there's still like a lot of big questions to be answered, and like they're finally starting to hint at one of like the biggest mysteries in One Piece, which is like that missing 100 years or whatever.
Oh, 800 years. They hit
Yeah.
the Void Century. Yeah. My bad.
Yeah, the void
Yeah.
century. So like they're finally starting to hint at like, hey, maybe this is what happened during that mysterious time period. But I can't wait to get those answers, because for whatever reason, I'm confident that they will pay off. Like there's never been a situation where like Oda has revealed something that he's teased for a long time that's like, all right, well that's ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like he tends to
Yeah.
deliver in his storytelling. So
Okay.
like I am very excited. But that's all I've been watching. Like Jeff mentioned, I did jump back into Remnant 2. I was trying to get Jeff and our other friend Chris to like play with me because like I reviewed that game when it first came out, but I did not do any co-op in it. And like I really felt like I had so much fun with Remnant 2. Like I really wanted to just play it with friends. And on top of that, like Remnant is built for replayability. Like that game changes the more times you play it. Like it randomly generates the maps that you're on. There are alternate scenarios to the situations you see. Like you can, and this literally happened as I was waiting for them to like get to the point where we could actually group up. I was playing the game. I ended up going to the same first world that I did on my first playthrough, and I had the same conversation with this like royalty character that I had the first time. But because I was trying to skip through the dialogue, I'm like, yeah, I know the story already, blah, 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 blah. I basically told her like, no, I'm not interested in what you have to say to me. And so all her guards tried to attack me, which did not happen the first time I was playing the game. So it was a fight that maybe I could have won, but there were like 4 of them. I was super underpowered. It was like very early game. They kicked my ass. So I was like, oh shit, all right, I have to go back in there and like try to like, you know, wrangle them so that I can like figure out how to win this fight. But instead I just woke up in prison, and then like another character who in the entirety of my first playthrough of the game never spoke to me. Like she's present, never spoke to me. That character is in the cell talking to me for the first time and telling me a bunch of shit that I did not know.
Oh,
Context
that's cool.
to the situation that I just wasn't aware of because I didn't engage with it in that way the first time. And like, so I'm on an entirely different map that I'd never seen. Like I'm in a dungeon. I had to escape the dungeon and stuff. And like, I got like a weapon that I never had from doing that. And I was like, that's cool as shit. I just like, I knew that there were places that the game lets you do one thing or another thing, but I didn't realize how much was just on the other side of this coin. So like,
cool.
I'm just going to play it again. Like, even if like, if my friends that I wanted to play through it with aren't as available, I'll probably still just try to put time into it myself just to keep exploring what else is in that game because it's so much fun. Remnant 2 is
I'm
a
sure they'll
great
play
time.
with you. You probably just gotta let them know in advance. You know.
Oh, you mean like I did? Like how I told you in advance, and then you didn't download the game before it was time to play. But I think that's it. Like other than that, I've been like playing Smash, which you guys have seen on stream. So I'm not gonna talk about that. But that's it for me. You can go right ahead, Honey Money.
Sure. I just sorry because Jeff said filler, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. Because have you heard about this Young Thug trial? And they brought up Bleach, and I'm like, what are we doing?
I heard that. I did not
What
see the
is
clip
this?
though. Like, why were they talking
it's-
about Bleach?
It's insane. She mentions like Ichigo and like their filler, and there's so many seasons, and I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like,
what are you talking about?
What was the context that brought this up?
Because she's like, oh, my clients are filler characters or something like that, and I'm like, to like explain that, and I was like, no one knows, no one cares. But the internet is like, bitch, you crazy.
That's insanity.
She is. Like, who came up with this?
That's
like,
insanity.
This is you're a lawyer. This is not. I need a new lawyer. That's what I would have thought. She went on a rant about Bleach in this trial about gangs.
Just trying to
In a
confuse
RICO
the judge,
trial.
maybe.
She didn't
What?
call an expert on
Confusing.
Bleach. Like they didn't call in a.
No.
Bleach
She
expert.
just had a whole rant about how Bleach has so many seasons, and then it has filler stuff, and it's like these filler characters, and like that's my clients. It's like you could have done this in a more non-niche way,
that
lady.
was
Come
nuts.
on. Yeah, it's insane. That whole trial has been insane
Oh my God.
anyway.
Like I'm an anime fan. I would be livid if that was my attorney.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. I don't know what she was doing. I
Like,
just
even-
thought, because when I saw it, I thought she was just a normal person who just talked about this, like somewhere in the trial. No, it's one of the lawyers. I'm like, what? How? What? Okay.
It's so strange.
Yeah, it's very strange. The internet's loving it, though, of course.
Maybe she like filled the jury during jury selection with a bunch of Bleach fans. And she's like, well, this is my way to help kind of like influence.
Like maybe the
Did a
judge's
research
robe
on the
really looked
jury.
like the captain
Go
robes.
say 13.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's like, oh, Bleach fan, you'll love this.
Yeah. You know about the fillers. Then you know about my clients. You can see.
You
It's
know we
like
didn't like
okay,
the Mount arc. You know we didn't like that.
yeah, exactly. So that I mean I don't recommend watching it because the trial has been crazy overall. Just like people been like smuggling in drugs and like handing them in front of the cameras to each other. Like it's a whole thing.
Yeah, I saw
I
that
don't know
stuff
what they're
too.
doing. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing.
In a courtroom? What is
Yeah,
your
Yeah.
problem?
No,
Yeah,
these are very stupid men.
incredibly stupid. So, but the bleach thing is funny at least. Uh, oh yeah, sorry, Casey. Also got stuck on that because you said ischema. Because I was like, isn't that a
Not
blood thing?
not a schema, but
Okay.
a schema.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I
schema
don't know.
is the word,
Okay.
I believe.
Okay, I don't know.
I could
Because
be
I was
wrong.
like, ischemia is like a blood thing.
But I'll look it up right. Go ahead, Honeyman. Let us know what you've been playing and watching. I'm gonna look it up right now,
Sorry.
just to make sure I'm not a crazy person.
Out here spreading false
False
information.
information. Yes. You know.
No, I've been playing. I started Far Cry 5. I've never played a Far
Ooh.
Cry. Had no idea. I just thought, it's a shooty thing, and it's like,
Shooty.
yeah, I thought it was gonna be like a linear
She's not
thing.
wrong.
It's just
It
it's an
is
open
shooty.
world thing, which I didn't expect. So I was like, oh, and it looks great. My God, the graphics, whoo, like
What do you think
the
about the gameplay?
animation. I mean, it's fun. It's just kind of, to be honest, I will say the gameplay so far has been pretty standard. But you can have a bear as a companion, so 10 out of 10.
That's a
Called
plus. Yeah, that's
Cheeseburger.
definitely
Yeah,
a massive plus.
Cheeseburger's my boy, so
He's called
yeah.
Cheeseburger?
He's called Cheeseburger,
That's
but
the
you
best
can't
bear
feed
name
him.
I've ever heard in
Yeah,
my
but
life.
you cannot feed him cheeseburgers because he's got the diabetes, so you cannot feed him
I
cheeseburgers.
really love how much attention they put into like the animal companions. Like they
Yeah.
all of them have like different personalities and like cool little quirks about them.
Don't.
Because you can have a dog or a bob, or like a mountain lion as well, I think. But
I think you can have
I opted
a
straight
pig in
away
that
for
one,
the bear.
right?
Is that the one
Oh, I
where
didn't
you
see
have
that.
the wheelchair dog?
I think it is.
Oh, no idea.
There's a
think it
tiny
is.
Sounds
dog
like it,
that's
though.
it's got like its back legs are in a little wheelchair.
I think so. I think that's right.
I haven't met
Oh.
one dog yet, so well, wheelchair share bound.
I think
So
you also get an alligator in that.
oh, I mean,
Yeah,
hey, I
where
guess
is 5 set? Is that the religious one?
Five
yeah,
is
it's
the
the
religious one.
religious
Yeah.
one.
Deep
Yeah,
South,
That's in like
yeah.
middle America.
Middle
Yeah.
America. Okay.
Hope County, whatever that is. No, I think they said. Oh, whatever. But
Oh, you know
yeah,
what?
I'm enjoying it
I
though.
might be thinking of 6 with the alligator and stuff.
No idea.
Oh, who'd have thought all of the Far Cry's blend together?
Oh. But like they've done a good job because I was expecting because it starts so like story heavy, right? And linear. Like you get in, it's a whole like you land on this compound, you're making the dumbest fucking mistake. You bring four marshals into a compound full of armed religious people, and you're like, we're gonna arrest your father here. Oh, that's not gonna be a problem. Don't worry about it, rookie. And I'm like, so I'm new. There's three of you, and there's like at least 20 plus people here, and all have guns. And you're like, we're gonna take your leader, and it's gonna be fine. Is it fine? It's not, let me tell you. So I was like, this is all dumb. This is so dumb, but fine. And then, yeah, you build up a resistance, which I'm also like, oh, so I, the rookie, meet this dude who saves me, and then now we're just building a resistance together. It was very, like, it's very strange because I was like, okay, I gotta let this go because this doesn't make any sense. But then when you get into the game, you kind of go like, okay, everything's crazy. That's fine. Like, okay, I get it now. Because when it started, I thought it was gonna be like super serious in that way, but the game is just crazy, and I like it. But I wasn't expecting that, so it was a bit like this is all really dumb. And then I was like, oh, it's just crazy. Okay, but I get it. Let's go. I got a bear. It's all good.
Yeah, they want it to
Beautiful
be like kind of
cheeseburger.
wild.
Yeah. So enjoying that. Started playing Night in the Woods. I have seen Night in the Woods several times. That's like, I don't know, I just love that game. I've never played it though. But it is like, it's so relatable. It's about because all the people are animals. So anthropomorphize, is that the word? Yeah. And it's like May, it comes back from college, but she's like quit college for some reason, comes back to her hometown, Possum Springs. And it's basically about her life there. Then eventually there's going to be more like, this is like a town mystery thing happening. It's kind of an old game now, so people probably know about it. But it's just so cozy. It's nice.
Yeah, it's
It's funny.
like it's a really angsty millennial type story from what I've heard, right? So like that, I think that was the main. It was like that. There was the Life is Strange games. Like those games appeal to like a very liberal leftist millennial
Yeah.
like the Tumblr crowd. I want to say. Like I'm not throwing shade.
I mean, I
I'm
can
just
see
saying.
that.
I'm not throwing shade or anything. I'm just saying like that. Like it's appealing to a very specific audience.
Yeah, because I know, like, when I played it, several people in my chat said, like, oh, this is, I can relate to this. Because, like, I think there's part of it, because she's, she's 20 and, like, she needs to find her way again. And I think, like, we've all been there at one point. So it is very relatable. But it's also, like, very funny and it's cute because of the style. So it's, like, very funny as well at times. So just like for me, it's kind of perfect. The only thing is there's no voice acting, but I don't think that matters too much. But there's a lot of reading for sure.
Yeah, like it's very dialogue heavy.
Yeah.
From what
That's
I can
for
imagine.
me. I can't read.
Yeah.
So not touching it.
Is Berserk just made of pictures?
Basically, it's just every other page is Guts cutting someone's head in half. So
Do you remember
Is
those
that it?
motion?
Yeah.
They tried to make motion comics like a thing.
Are
Where
they
it was
not?
like in between animation and a book, like a
Yeah.
where it would like they don't work. Nobody buys.
yeah,
it.
they split them into
Yeah.
layers and they slightly make
Yeah.
them
Yeah,
bigger.
like they just
Yeah.
slide across the street, like
Yeah,
very
that's it,
dramatically.
yeah.
Yeah.
I guess. Also, what else? Oh, I started Spiritfarer. I've been avoiding that for a bit because I remember I was on Yahtzee's post CP stream with it, and he said he cried at one point because apparently there's a hedgehog in it that has dementia, and I was like, "Oh, I'll stay away from this. I don't need that in my life. I
yeah.
got that for realsies. Don't need that in my games." But now it's just like because I'm not a person that like is gonna shy away from feelings. It's just like at that point I was like, I'm not gonna dive head into this. I'll
Yeah,
wait
that
a
can be
bit.
rough.
Yeah. So I started playing that. I haven't really gone to any like cry stuff yet, but like that game just has such a Ghibli feel. Like all like constant the music, everything you do and like the vibe, it's just so Ghibli, like up, but it's also sad and it's like and it's so pretty to look at. It's so smooth somehow. So
Yeah,
super
it's got
into
great
that, but
animation.
yeah, like it's just great. Like because it's one could say because it's not that it's not that advanced or complex in that way. It's not like it's pretty simple, but it does it incredibly well. So like it doesn't matter that it's everything's kind of flat and stuff like that. I don't think about it. I'm just sitting there going like this is all so pretty like constantly, and the music is great. And I typically not don't notice music much in games because I don't know. I'm not that person, I guess. So it has to really like stand out for me to be like, oh, this music is amazing. So yeah. And then I watched. That's the thing I posted on Twitter. Freelance, the new John Cena movie with Alison Brie.
Allison
I don't know
Bree's
if
in a movie with John Cena.
yeah, and it's like a action comedy thing. Like I don't
Okay.
know. He was in the military. Yeah,
Yeah, I think he was a ex-soldier.
yeah, ex-soldier, and then he became a lawyer, and his life is all mundane and boring.
Oh,
His
wait, you
wife
mean in the
hates
movie?
him, and yeah.
Oh.
Now I
Yeah,
don't know.
he
In
did
real
well.
life, I don't know. In the movie, yeah, he starts out as like special something, and then yeah, he becomes a lawyer, and then some like I don't know. It's killing him being a lawyer. He hates it, and then he gets into Christian Slater is in it as well, which is also like what?
That's very random, but okay.
Yeah, that's very random. So
Does
and
he play
takes
himself
this...
in it?
No,
Because I feel
He
like
does not.
I feel like the last time I saw Christian Slater, he was just Christian Slater and whatever. He
I
was
mean,
in.
yeah, I mean, he is kind of that, I guess. He keeps looking the same though, because like I
Yeah.
remember seeing him in Mr. Robot last, and I was like, he looks exactly the same now. So I don't know, and that was several years ago. But yeah, it's like an action comedy. I wasn't expecting it to be good, and it wasn't. Like I love John Cena. I love John Cena in comedy roles specifically, but the movie couldn't decide if it wanted to be funny or action.
Mm.
Because they sure as hell didn't do a good job of like putting them together. Because it was like heavy action, some funnies, and there's like heavy action. Or we tried to be funny, and like nothing really landed in any way. So I was like, oh, it's pretty
That's
boring.
One of the
unfortunate.
jokes or punches.
Yeah, yeah. So do not recommend, but I don't know. It was fine, but
All
yeah,
right, I want to
there's
support
better.
Allison Brie. I might watch it just for her.
Nice.
Yeah,
Like all the former Community actors. Like if I see them pop up in something, especially the ones who aren't already like doing really well, like Donald
yeah.
Glover and
Yeah. Long lover.
like Danny Pudi needs more love. Like whatever he
does.
shows up in, I think he's like a voice in DuckTales or something. That's like his biggest role
Yeah,
right
it's
now.
like, what is? I haven't seen him in
Voice
years. I don't know
actor,
what he
mate.
does.
I can't wait for that movie to come out. The
Yeah.
Community movie.
Is this? Oh, is there one?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're working
shit.
on it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a
Oh,
myth.
okay. Well, great. It's okay. Also, still keeping up with Jujutsu Kaisen. I was a bit worried because the last few episodes have been going the way Bleach went, where it's just fight, every episode only fights, and I'm like, I like it's cool and all because the animation is fantastic, but like it gets boring. So finally, last episode, it actually made me cry. It was about the like one girl kind of the group, their like little group. I can't
The
tell
Hammer
much.
Girl.
Yeah, the Hammer Lane's girl. And it like told her backstory more because we haven't really found out too much about her. I think over
That's true.
the whole show because she's been like in the background all the time. So I like that. I really like that. And
So-
it made sense.
So Jujutsu Kaisen has moved out of that prequel story.
Oh
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
For
Okay.
several episodes.
Oh,
ago.
okay, nice.
Yeah.
This is still season 2 though, right?
It's still season 2. Yeah.
Alright.
It's like a big fight now.
Okay.
In like several places. So yeah, I still think Jujutsu Kaisen is amazing. I think it's great. Like I look forward to it every week. So, it's just like a pleasure to look at as well. Because Bleach just throws fights at you because they have so many characters and they're just like, we know you want to see some cool powers. Here are they all the time, everywhere. Doesn't matter.
But then they don't
Just
let
like,
you
that's
see
all
the
you get.
cool powers. Like a sword will swing and then the camera is 30 miles out. It's like, what happened?
Or they're insane, like, oh, I can create a meteor and crush this whole place, and you won't survive. And of course they survive. It's like they're just messing, they're just fucking with you at this point.
Like in anime or like superhero stuff, like when the power scale gets so out of whack that like they have to, like it abstracts everything about that's interesting about a fight, which is two people putting their skills to the test against each other. Like
That's
I'm
why
always
JoJo's
going to be a
better
fan
than
of just keeping it on the ground and have it just be mano y mano.
No
Yeah.
flying. I got you.
Yeah, no flying. I mean, it's like
On the ground.
like sometimes if they make it like, 'cause, I mean, there are of course exceptions, right? Like they can mix and match certain like special powers and abilities with things like martial arts acumen or whatever. Like Avatar does a great job at doing that. But oftentimes where it's like, oh, I'm just shooting beams at you. Like Harry Potter magic fights, like I hate those. Sorry, Jermaine. I know you're a big fan of,
Hey,
but
no, I think
like the
that's-
combat in Harry Potter is so boring. It's just
I
yeah,
think that's because you don't read. I think it's because you don't read and you've only seen the movies. And that's fine. It's okay not to read. I sympathise with that as a dyslexic. I get that.
I mean, is combat in the books made more interesting?
Yeah,
Like when you
because
read
it's
it
all
on the
about-
page.
Apart
did you play
from
the game?
Avada Kedavra, which is just bullshit. Like the whole thing in Harry Potter is that usually in combat the spells are there to like counter each other, and it's kind of like rock paper scissors, or trying to outwit your opponent and stuff like that. And there's a block spell called Protego, which you can just block spells with if you time it correctly. But Avada Kedavra cannot be blocked, kills you instantly, and cannot be traced. Like, you leave no mark that you've been killed by it. So it's just a bullshit spell. And I think J.K. Rowling regrets making that spell because it's just bullshit.
I think
At least that's one thing she
games
regrets.
do a good job, like further in the combat. Like there's like counters, like not just counter spells, but like using your wand to counter a spell, and there's like counter attacks. I think the game does a great job at like even showing like the synergy between different spells, like using them one after another. Like there was the levitate one, and then you could use the other one that pushed them away. And you could levitate them, and then it was like light them on fire, and then shoot them, push them towards other enemies. Like it did a great job of kind of like, I don't know if that's how it's supposed to go, but it did it made it exciting.
Not to stay too long on Harry Potter, but like I always think the combat was never the interesting part for me.
Sure,
it was like
sure.
there are always things, and this isn't necessarily the games, but like the universe itself, because there are so many ways to defeat someone instantaneously. It's more about avoiding combat, and some of the books and movies do this really well. Like towards the end of the series, Harry and the gang are just trying to avoid people, and it's all about espionage. And Fantastic Beasts explored that. There was an aura who was hunting Credence, and he was like using magic to hide in the walls, and like that's really cool. I want to watch an espionage movie about like a dark wizard catcher. That sounds sick. Fuck Harry. Like, I love the world. I don't love Harry Potter and his story. I love the world.
And like you said, that might be a fault of the movies being movies. They're like, oh, we have to have some action in here. How do you do action with magic? And
things just popping.
Yeah.
Until someone casts a spell that you recognize and the fight's over. And it's like, that's not how it works.
Good points. All right, sorry, honey money. Continue.
Oh no, just also then keep watching Frasier. There's only been one good episode so far. All the other episodes have been like, it's fine, but it's not, like it doesn't feel like good old Frasier, So I'm a bit like, because I was hopeful when I got to that good episode. I was like, oh, this has the old feel. So I'm like, I hope this it just keeps going up, and it did not. So I assume it's just gonna be kind of fine, rest of it. So yeah. Also watching Miracle Workers with some people. We're on season 2. I mean, I would watch Daniel Radcliffe in anything. That dude
he's great.
I want to be his friend so bad. Like he just seems great, and he's just so fun. And Miracle Workers is really like I think the first season was like 7 episodes, and like then there's like 10, but every episode is only 20 minutes. And it's all nonsense, so you can just like plow through them.
Episode, yeah.
Yeah, so like it recently got canceled. They only made 4 seasons.
Oh,
but
I mean that's a lot actually.
But every season is a new thing. So the first one was like trying to get God not to destroy the world, and now we're in like medieval times. So, and there's no like explanation from season to season. It's just like they just switch. It's just a new thing now, but with the same actors, and they play different roles. So it's kind of fun.
Weird.
Yeah, you gotta be kind of, because I remember when we started the second season, people were like, "Wait, what?" Oh, because we all thought we would get some kind of explanation, but it's like no, they just jump straight into a new thing, say nothing about the old thing. So you're just gonna be ready for. You gotta be ready for that.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So do recommend it because it's a nice watch. It's just like it's easy to watch. And just then last thing, I watched Oppenheimer a while back, and I feel like I'm probably the last person to watch it, but it was great for such a long movie. For such a long movie, I was interested the whole time.
I've not seen it yet.
Okay.
It's great.
Jermaine will now be the last person to see Oppenheimer.
I'm not the last person in the world.
Oh, all right, you guys are gonna watch it together.
We go watch it together, dude. I'll fly over.
I'll meet you in the square.
Yeah, dude.
But there's something about movies now that like over the 3 hours, and I'm like, oh, really.
Yeah, especially with that sort of subject matter, like
Yeah.
that. It's a story that does not move a mile a minute, right? Like it's
No.
very plotting, it's deliberate, but it
Yeah.
is interesting the whole way through.
Yeah. There's so many actors in it because that's what I felt. Usually in movies like these, even because it's like, I don't know the story really, the history, but it seems to be pretty historically accurate. So because they have like Einstein is in there, like all of these like known scientists, which I also in my mind for some reason I thought Einstein would have been dead at this point. It's like, oh, okay, because I was like I've never thought about it. I was like, oh, okay, um, but the fact that all the characters got so much screen time, like even just like smaller characters, all of them had lines. And usually they're like they have like one line and then you never see them again in the movie because they got to cut people out, they got to cut things for to not make the movie so long. But like in this,
Yeah,
no one else give a shit.
Yeah, like, look, I'm gonna do what I want.
How was
Yeah,
the sound quality?
it was
That's
great.
a great question.
I mean, it was great. I didn't notice anything.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Because Nolan has a habit of having like hella bass and just no
Undermixing his dialogue.
Yeah, no dialogue is audible unless you boost all the volume, and then you're just shocked to death by the bass.
His excuse, film-wise, is that in a true environment, you would not be able to hear these lines because of, say, the engines or the speedboat they're on or something like that. Yeah, but we're watching a movie and you're trying to give us dialogue so we can understand what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't care about the realism. Like, get over yourself. Like, come on.
I don't know. I think I'm the wrong person to ask because I don't, unless it's like really bad, I don't notice. But I didn't notice it at all. It's
Like,
because
the
there's
fact that I didn't think
so
about
much...
it when I saw it,
Yeah,
I think
It
he
was
did
fine.
fix it. I think he
yeah,
got around
I
to,
think
to
so
fixing
too.
it.
Because it's just the acting, like the main, was it Cillian Murphy? What is his name?
Cillian Murphy,
Yeah, the Cillian Murphy.
Yeah, he's amazing. Like
He is.
I
He's so
started Peaky
underrated.
Blind. Yeah, I started Peaky Blinders. I wasn't into it, so I had to stop.
Yeah,
So I haven't
I
really
stopped
seen him
Peaky
in much.
Blinders and then had to go back. It doesn't get good until season 3, but then it's really good, and then it's bad.
Yeah,
when
but
it
I'm
ends.
not. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Casey, I'm hate watching The Expanse because of all of y'all
Expanse
saying
is
The
good,
Expanse is
though.
great.
It's great.
It's
It
not
is great.
good. It's The Expanse is world building and nothing else. Every character is like upset, angry. They all shouting at each other like they're together. That doesn't make any fucking sense. And like, oh god, because like we're watching it as a group, so we're all just kind of hate watching it now. Like no one's having a good time. Everyone's just like, this is hella
I think
fucking
you
dumb.
might be
Blasphemy.
watching that show in an echo chamber. I think you guys are want to hate it.
No, but that's well, we do now, but like, because we started watching it because everyone's like, this is amazing. We watched it and we were like, it's fine. And I was like, oh, it's just world building in season 1 because it basically is. You don't really get to know the characters too well, and then in season 2, the pacing is so off. Like the world building is always the main focus point in The Expanse, and that is not what I want. I want to know about the characters.
Okay.
But they just become upset, angry. They don't act in a human way, so it all becomes very strange. It's like, oh, it's best if we keep this secret. But in the previous season, we established that Holden would tell the whole galaxy things. But in this one, he's just gonna keep it secret. Oh, he's the new Miller now for some reason. It's like that could have been interesting if they didn't like speed run that process. So yeah, we're probably gonna keep watching it because what I've heard now is like, oh, it got good when it got to Amazon or something, which is like season 4 or something. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it moved from sci-fi to Amazon
Yeah.
at some point, right?
So
I mean,
yeah,
maybe there's a change in like the pacing or something, but yeah, I was in love with that world building. So like maybe I overlooked any character deficiencies early on because the world they set up is so fascinating to me, and like the issues they had to deal with in that world was super fascinating to me. So I was already way in. But the Expanse is great. I'm not gonna hear this later.
No, but that's the thing, because I have asked people like afterwards, like, okay, what specifically do you, because I want to get it, but I just can't because everyone says it's the sci-fi. It's the best sci-fi show out there. And for me, that's the issue then personally. Because I'm like, I don't give a shit about the sci-fi. It's like, that's cool and all, but what about the characters? Because I'm more about story and writing and stuff like that. So for me, then it all becomes kind of, this is all, because then I'm so focused in on what the characters are doing. And then the world building is still there, of course. But for me, that's the least interesting part.
I do think you'll get more character specific story stuff later. Like that does come.
But that's what everyone keeps saying. That's also the issue. People are like, "Oh, it gets good in season X," and I'm like,
Well, I'm not
but
saying
it's
whether
like, oh,
it's good or not in that regard, but they
no.
definitely do tell stories that are more focused on like the characters and their relationships to other characters, etc. That does come later. Like cuz I can specifically think of at least 2 big arcs that are about just characters.
Okay.
But I always thought the world was the star. Like the situation that
Yeah.
universe is dealing with, I think is super fascinating.
Yeah, and I can see that, and I get that. It's just not what I watch shows for, I guess. So that's
That's
why it's
fair.
probably not clicking
That's
with
fair.
me.
Yeah,
Because
that's all right.
people are like really weird in how they interact with each other, and like they're like a couple, and like they keep secrets from each other, and it's like they have no chemistry at all. And I'm like, why are you together? It's like it made sense season 1, and now season 2 makes no fucking sense because they just keep secrets and yell at each other all the time.
They're under a lot of pressure.
Oh, my camera died.
Oh, it did, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were
Yep.
just really, really like curious about.
Let's see if we can come back. It's been doing that lately. I don't know what it is. But yeah, that's never mind. I'll fix it and we can just move on. Sorry. Expanse rants.
No problem. And Dow Dow just said the Expanse excels with political intrigue. I agree. But on the note of intrigue, political or otherwise, we'll get into our first topic here: the Fallout TV series. This is an Amazon production. It got its first official trailer. I've seen some mixed sentiment in regards to whether this looks good or not. I'll start, I guess, by saying that I think it actually looks really good. Like I thought the trailer was a little tongue in cheek, which like the Fallout series does have a good sense of humor in terms of like, hey, this is like a really horrible situation, but let's play it for laughs here and there because it's also kind of a goofy world with like a weird ecosystem or whatever. Like they seeded that into even like the trailer, not just the scenes they showed you, but like it said from the people that brought you the boys and free 2-day shipping, which is like they're just universe breaking in the trailer itself. Like I thought that was really cute and funny. And like from what I can tell, like I played the holy shit out of Fallout 3, but bounced off of every other Fallout after that for whatever reason.
man.
But like I played everything you could play in Fallout 3 before the expansions came out, and it looks like it. It looks like that world to
Yeah.
me. Which I mean, that's not the most important thing when in an adaptation, but like I do think it is important, like to get that imagery correct, like the vault
Yeah.
dweller suits,
Yeah.
like the actual vault itself, the look of that. Like Walton Goggins plays a mutant or a not a
A
mutant,
ghoul.
a ghoul,
ghoul.
yeah.
Yeah, go.
And Walton Goggins one is a fantastic actor. He's great in
Yeah.
everything he's ever been in ever. So like that
Yeah.
alone
Even
is
as
probably
even as a kid. Yeah.
as a kid. He was a child
Yeah.
actor.
Yeah, he was a child actor.
I didn't know that either.
Didn't know that.
I just saw him in this weird romantic comedy that no one else saw, which he was fine, but it was so not the roles we usually see.
Does
him.
nobody watch The Righteous Gemstones on HBO?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched that.
He's Uncle Baby Billy on that show. He's he's fucking hilarious.
He's great.
I love him so much. But yeah, so what are you guys' opinions on this trailer so far? Like, are you excited? Does it give you pause? Like, pros, cons? I want to hear them.
I thought it looked great. I mean, I think it definitely
Mhm.
embodied the games. I played like the crap ton out of 4. I played some of
Mm.
3, New Vegas, and I played the crap ton of 4, like even all the expansions.
Mm.
And it definitely seems like it kind of captures the essence of Fallout from what I can see. Once the show comes out, that could be a little bit different. Like it starts
Sure.
with them leaving the vault, like somebody has to venture out, right? And it starts with that, the suits. Um, the mutated creatures, like you see a bunch of mutated creatures,
Mm-hmm.
the power suits, the Brotherhood of Steel. You got ghouls, even like the technology, like they definitely pulled everything from the game. Like they pulled it. Now to me, it's just gonna come down to the writing. I wanted to see more of a the humor is fine, but I wanted to see more of a grounded, not really grounded, but more of a character focused, like because there's so many different factions and stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
Like it didn't need to be like The Walking Dead, but I wanted it to be more serious and not opposed and not really so much the over the top gore, that type of humor. Like it's so
Yeah,
like
it
I'm
didn't. It
definitely
didn't look
gonna
like
have
that
to
to me.
watch it. Like like the quick kills and stuff with the ghouls and stuff, and when they were joking, and then it cut away to somebody else, I think, getting shot in the head, and then you see the blood splatter.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wanted it to be when picture the Fallout show, I wanted it definitely to be more serious. I'm not getting that
Like,
vibe from it.
right,
Mm.
like less irreverent, right? Like less
Right,
Borderlands and more, I guess, The Last of Us.
right. Not that serious, but at least like y- definitely along those lines. Yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
But look wise, it definitely captures everything. That Fallout related, like I said, the power suits, the mutated creatures, the ghouls, the super mutants, the way everyone dresses, the technology from the turrets, um, when you go to certain areas and it has like a Nuka World, like a lot of like that over the top
Mm.
cartoon animation like on the walls and stuff,
Yeah.
like it has that in there. So now to me it's just gonna depend on like the first episode, like how everything kind of like comes together, how the writing is. But I'm
Yeah.
excited for it.
Yeah. It looks like from like the stuff that they showed, like they legit just pulled like assets from the game and just like they like 3D printed just shit that was in the game. Cause like
Yeah.
there's like a one like
Yeah.
kind of shanty town looking outpost area that is like its walls are made up of like traffic like stop signs and yield signs and stuff. Like it it looks just like the game, and like I feel like that is important to sell that this world is a real place, or at least a
Yeah.
Right.
fantastical place. That without like being like super jarring. Uh, but like Jeff said, like yeah, like we got to see the writing to see if it could pull off the rest of that. But like visually, I think it works.
Yeah. Like I
Uh,
saw that
Yeah.
Halo got like a second season, and then, like to me this is like night and day so far. Like where Halo kind of like threw away the anything that happened in the games and in the books, kind of threw it away and went with their own way.
uh huh.
This they pulled a lot from, which I think is it's safe, but also like I think it works. A lot of times we're like, oh well, why didn't they just stick to what the fans already liked about it, what pulled the fans in, and
Well,
kind of just expand upon it. So I'm definitely excited about that part of it.
I think I think I was gonna mention Halo, so I'm glad you did. I think this is gonna go the exact same way as Halo.
Ooh.
I I think they are pulling things that people recognize, so we can go, oh look, it's a ghoul. Oh look, it's it's a Pit Boy and stuff like that.
Mm.
And I don't know. I've got weird like Halo vibes where the writing is just gonna be Garbo. It's just gonna be like they're so tied. One of two things is going to happen. They're either going to be so tied to the game and wanting to try and to appease the fans that the writing isn't going to be adventurous enough to make anything interesting. Because I've got a
Mm.
really, probably not very popular opinion. I don't think Fallout has good writing. I think it's got I don't think it's very strong.
Mm.
I think a lot of the best stories in those games are all of the ones that are hidden in books, not the actual narrative itself. And if they try and copy that, I think it's just going to be middle of the road. And if they don't and try and do something on their own, I don't think the world's interesting enough to make something interesting. Like, I, I just, I probably am not the best person to ask this question because I just don't. I've bounced off of a lot of Fallout games, but I've bounced off of most of Bethesda's work.
Mm.
It baffles me how they've got so popular. Um, and I think that's gonna. To be honest, I thought the exact same thing about Halo. I don't understand how Halo got. I understand its legacy, but how it's done the same thing and not innovated and done the same shit so much repeatedly. And like, I'm like, why have they made a show out of this? There's not a lot interesting to make a show out of it. Like, can you name me 5 interesting characters from Fallout? Name them and what their stories are.
Well, no.
I got a couple. I don't know if I have 5.
But hold on. The reason I say that though is because I think there is a difference between like Halo's universe and Fallout's universe. Especially 100%. In terms of like Halo is at the very least a continuous story that has like beats and like continuous characters, where Fallout is more like an anthology. Like each game is not
and
like
it's a world.
Yeah, it's like something happened in this world that we know the details of, and this is another story in that world. And I think that sort of premise lends itself way more better to an adaptation than Halo does, because Halo is a video game, and like half of its appeal is you interacting with that world and being a part of that story, right?
And its narrative is very rigid, whereas Fallout has a lot. See, you're completely right. Fallout does have a lot of interesting areas it could go to.
Right.
I just do not have faith that Amazon are going to go to those interesting areas, and it is going to be, we are in a desert. Oh look, there's what are they called again? The big suit guys.
What are super mutants? The
Brotherhood of Steel.
Power suit.
Brotherhood of Steel.
The Brotherhood of Steel. They'll be like, oh
Yeah.
look, there's the Brotherhood of Steel blimp, and they come down and it's just going to be one of those shows where it's like every episode there is a thing you recognize, and you're like, oh look, there's Walter Goggins, and he's gonna be guaranteed the best thing in that show, just because he's fantastic.
That's a good chance, yeah.
But I don't think his character's gonna be any more than he is a ghoul. People in the town don't like ghouls because he doesn't have a nose, and that's the story. And I'm not looking forward to it. I don't have faith that they're going to do anything interesting. I was thinking, what have Amazon done that I like? Invincible, The Boys, all of these shows. They are adaptations of things that already have very interesting stories.
That's true. Yeah.
And they've elevated them. And I hope I'm proven wrong. I'm not trying, as Jesse says, I'm not trying to yuck on anyone's yum. If you like it, more power to you. I'm not trying to say you're wrong or anything like that, but it's just, not for me, and I don't have faith that they're going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
4 has an interesting story, and I think a lot of times it is underneath stuff. Like there was Valentine, who was the synth, who was had like a detective personality. Like you understand his story.
Valentine is an interesting character. I agree.
Yeah, and then like they had stuff where synth, some didn't know they were synths, some did. Some there was a lot of it can't really be racism. Synthism, I guess there was a lot of that going on. Where people,
synthetism.
People who like they didn't like the Sims for any other reason, and then there were, and I guess this can't be a spoiler, but like the one guy who was part of the Brotherhood of Steel, and he was one of your companions the entire time, find out that he was a synth, and he hated synths towards the end of the game. Like you find out that all along that's a thing.
Well,
and
they've already done a Valentine adaptation. I think they called it like Ex Machina or something.
Oh really?
Like we've had cool explorations of that, and they're not gonna do it. Like they're like, oh, that's too complicated to tell. That's that's kind of interesting. Let's not do that. Let's do the Brotherhood of Steel come in and kill mutants. Because those factions just want to kill each other and they want control. And if they explore.
But yeah, those are like overarching kind of very generic themes, right? But that's the sort of thing, because they're not beholden to anything in that universe, that you can build off of. You can make something a lot more interesting between that dynamic. The Brotherhood and Steel have beef with the super mutants, right? Someone who's a good writer can figure out a way to make that 100%. Dynamic interesting. And like I know you're saying like what has Amazon done? Like I agree that they're kind of 50-50 in terms of like their original productions. Like there's a lot of stuff that they've come out with that's very mediocre, but they also have some bangers. Like the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel is a full-on original Amazon production. That show was great. Yeah. That show was so good. And I think I'm blanking so much, but like they were saying who the writers and stuff were. like they worked on something prior to
Oh,
this.
yeah.
The thing is,
No, well, that's the producer. That's
I know,
Amazon.
I know. I'm just
but
messing with you. Yeah.
I need to look at the trailer.
while
again,
you
but I
think
don't
about
wanna,
this,
like, blow
I have
anyone's
my
eardrums.
pitch for what I think would make a better
Oh, the
series.
Jonathan Nolan, writer of Westworld.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
well that
Oh,
changes
oh.
things because Westworld's very
Yeah,
good.
like Westworld
Yeah.
is awesome. So
Okay, well that changes
Well,
things.
I
And it's
mean,
kind of the
first and second
same.
season.
Yeah,
It's kind of
I
the
haven't
same.
really
I
Almost.
like the third.
Then it's
season.
like, ooh,
I like
It's
the
kind
third
of almost
season.
the same world to an extent too, because you got
Yeah,
synths,
it's
you got the
similar.
robots.
It's
yeah, in a
similar.
way,
Yeah, like yeah.
But I think the show would have been a way more interesting. For me, the most interesting thing about Fallout is the vaults and all of the experiments they did in the vaults and how they were all set up to experiment on a different thing.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
one has all women, one would not feed any of the children and only fed them, rat poison or whatever. There's so much wacky shit. I would just like a series that was an anthology series that was just like, American Horror Story or something like that, just called Fallout Vaults. And each season explores the dynamic of a vault, and then the next season is the new dynamic of a vault testing a different thing. And it's just how the social construct, like what I don't want it to devolve into is every episode they show you a thing that all of the nerds, spit their popcorn out and start clapping because they saw a thing that's in a game. I want them to explore interesting things.
Because there's a lot there. You have the railroad. You have not just the Brotherhood of Steel. You have the railroad. You have the Minutemen. You have like I said, there was a lot of underlining stories that weren't to the forefront, but were also very interesting. Um, even the part. Well, no, actually, that wasn't that interesting. Yeah, that part wasn't that interesting. But like the one of the DLCs was about the robots trying to take over, and you had to kind of like go in there and deal with the robots and how they had different personalities and even like the final boss that you had to deal with. Then there was another one where you went to a different town that was like shrouded in mist, and it was kind of supernatural things going on, but they really didn't like right out say it. Um, like it has some interesting stories. Like I
Yeah.
said, deals with a lot of classism, a lot of racism, a lot of relationships between not only father and son, but like because like it's a continuous timeline. A lot of the games take place different points in the story, like different points in the history, where how each one remembers history sometimes varies based on how long it's been. Like if you played Fallout before it became like the first person shooters, like a lot of that stuff they took and moved it into the first person genre, which it holds up good. But like I do agree with Jay about the how it can divulge into just the Brotherhood versus the mutants, and that's kind of
Yeah, like just
what I
like
don't.
lazy
That's
fan
just what I'm
service.
worried about.
Yeah.
There's definitely the opportunity to make it interesting, and like this, there are interesting stories in Fallout, but like you said, they're not the main story. They're hidden in books or little side quests, and I hope that the writers understand that that is what's interesting, but I don't have faith that the producers know that's what's interesting. The producers will go, well, no, you need to put super mutants in it. You need to put the Brotherhood of Steel in it because that's like the thing. And we want people to come back and buy merch and like do stuff like that. So they're like, just pump that shit out.
Yeah, like that's
rather than
the face on the box of like
exactly
the most recent
like
game, right? So like make sure you
where's
get
the
them front
dude
and
in the
center.
metal mask?
Yeah.
Ask the producers.
Yeah.
Where's the cool stuff? Because they've never played it.
Because that is the thing with Fallout, right? The main story is typically not the most fun you'll have.
Yeah, with all
those
Bethesda
games.
games, honestly.
Yeah,
it's all
it's the side
stuff
quest.
you get into on the sides. Yeah,
Yeah, so hopefully they get that because I feel like
but that's what makes it so
Yeah.
good potentially as a TV show. Like
Yes.
it could be a long running thing where like your main character just gets into situations. Like this world is so expansive. There's so many little new weird things you can find in this world. Like they're an explorer. Like that can go on for a long time and stay interesting if they don't get
Yeah.
bogged down in, trying to recreate a narrative for like the same 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
Right. Because
Yeah.
another season, if it does make it that far, could be a different vault.
Yeah,
open at a
they could
different
do that
point in
route.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it could be an anthology almost. where different vaults open up at different points in history,
Yeah, in different
and how
places around the world. Yeah.
things from the last vault maybe affected things from the last season affected things in the vault maybe 50 years from now.
Yeah, there's the room for it. It definitely could be. And airing it out, I just like from the trailer, I am getting Halo vibes, which is like, and I know they need to do this for a trailer because they need to get people hype, and I really hope I'm proven wrong, but I'm really getting that. Oh, don't you remember this? Don't you remember this? Don't you remember this? Like the dog, the
Yeah,
Brotherhood
yeah,
of
yeah.
Steel, ghouls, and it's just like I've seen this before, and it never turns out well, but I hope it does.
Yeah, because I feel like not too many shows can embody what it was while still doing its own thing.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
Halo was like a bait and switch where it was like, oh yeah, look at this, look at Master Chief, look at this, look at this, and then it's like a story that they completely made up from scratch. It just, I think the first season first episode or second episode, Master Chief took off his helmet. Like it just,
Yeah, they,
like
Yeah.
Didn't
no,
get it.
see,
Yeah.
I'm worried about being able for them to balance the serious and funny, because that is in the games, because you have your own time to go and explore. Like here's going to be served to you, and you're going to be like, oh, it's time to be funny now, or it's like, are they going to be able to get that together? Especially like if you think about Westworld, especially that's just a serious show. No one's ever funny in that fucking show. So like, because
it had
Fallout
its
has
moments.
very, I don't know, I don't, I, it's mostly like terrible tragedy. Everyone's terrible. I feel, but like Fallout has that a lot of humor in it. Like, because I was thinking about that New Vegas thing. There's a bunch of ghouls trying to go to space or something, and you try and get them to help them build a rocket so they can go to space because they think, they need to go. And they have this human that helps them out. He's a scientist, but he thinks he's a ghoul, but he doesn't get that he's a human. So, like, that
That's
would be
fun.
funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be funny. But I'm also, like, worried that they're gonna, like, fuck it up if they put stuff like that in there.
I think one of the reasons those wild stories work so well in games, and it's one of the reasons why games works as a narrative medium, is because you, the player, are a blank slate. You have no narrative, basically, and those narratives can happen around you, and you're effectively just a camera viewing them, and your interactions with them are very small. Oh, go get me the key card so I can set off the spaceship. You're not really doing anything, Whereas in a show, for like your mum to really like the show, which is like they want a wide audience to like these shows.
Yeah.
It's not just for us nerds, right?
Yeah.
The characters, one has to have a character, and for them to have character, they have to play off other characters. So that means that a conclave of characters are going to have to go to these environments, and then I think that would just get really messy, like so much stuff happening. But I hope they do explore those interesting stories because that's what I want. I'm just worried they just won't.
Yeah, only time will tell. We'll probably get a couple more trailers before. I think what is it? February? This is out.
Oh wow, that close?
Am I tripping? Did I make
No,
that?
I think I don't think it's that far away.
Let me see. What was the date for this? Oh no, I'm sorry, April. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's much further than February,
Yeah.
but not that much further.
No.
But yeah, April. So we'll probably get a couple more trailers before it drops.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how it goes. But I think I am optimistic. I think it'll be good.
Same. I think the trailer looked good, but yes, we've been bamboozled before.
Yeah.
So on that note, we'll move on to our final topic here. We may not stay on this super long, depending on how deep and insightful we get. But as we all know, the Video Game Awards is happening very soon, December 7th.
Yeah.
And despite all the hubbub about who's going to win Game of the Year or Best Action Game or Best Voice Actor or whatever, what we're really there for is all the new game announcements. Like the Game Awards doubles as an announcement show. And we've gotten some pretty big ones in the past. As some of you guys know, the Perfect Dark reboot was announced there, and I lost my effing mind. But that never came to be so far.
No.
So we could literally see anything at the Game Awards is what I'm getting at. So I'm just curious. Is there anything you guys would want to see be announced here? Is there anything you guys think will be announced here? Let's just speculate. Wild speculation is what the name of the game is right now.
Bloodborne PC port. Always, always, always.
You think
It's not gonna happen? No, it's not gonna happen. But I want it. It's not gonna happen, but I want it. Yes.
Yeah, the amount of work. I'm pretty sure why that isn't a thing is because the physics are tied to the frame rate, and the frame rate was locked. So when you unlock the frame rate on PC, it completely fucks the game.
But that's a thing that is just completely unfixable.
It's fixable, but it's very expensive, and I don't think FromSoft want to. I guess.
Well, Sony owns it, right? So like they could just get someone else to do it.
Some team to do for a year, and it's definitely doable. But Sony make bad business decisions all the time, you know. So, and they're continuing to make them. So, I don't think we'll get it. I'm hoping Silksong proper release date announcement, please, Team Cherry.
I love everyone when they talk about Silks. As soon as they mention it, they're like Silk Song, like wincing.
Yeah, it's almost like we all feel like we're not worthy of it.
Yeah, I know.
It's also like I wasn't able to watch any of the announcements that happened, and somebody came into my chat and was like, "Oh my god, they spoke about Silksong," and I got like, "Oh my god, we're gonna get a release date," and they said, "Oh, and they just said it's a Metroidvania," and showed like 2 clips and then turned it off, and I was like, "What? Why show it?" It's like Team Cherry just want to remind us that it's like it is a thing, and then take it away again.
Originally, it was part of the Xbox showcase where they said all these games would be in 2023.
Really? Was it? Okay, so they missed that.
That's...
originally it was meant to be DLC for Hollow Knight for free, and then they spun it off into a full game.
Yeah.
So
which no one is mad at because it looks amazing.
Oh no, hell yeah, I'm all for it.
But that would be a big one. Wraithbow in chat is saying the next Monster Hunter. I hope so, honestly.
Yes, please.
Like Monster Hunter World 2 is what I want specifically. Like
yeah,
I want them to get
definitely
off of appealing to the Switch. They now have an engine that can scale to both console, PC, and Switch with the RE engine. So build a new Monster Hunter World, but make a version that can scale down to Switch, fine, but build it for those other consoles first, because because Rise definitely was made for Switch first and then like upscaled after the fact. It does look better on the other consoles, but it does not look as good as World did, and World is very old at this point.
So good. Yeah. Make World but less dragons. They really were trying to appeal to the West, and they're like, let's just have every monster be a dragon,
but keep all of that ninja shit, all the wire bug nonsense. Bring it all back. I will be so upset if that does not come back. I can't imagine what they could add in place of it that would make me as happy as all the Wirebug shenanigans, because it is so fun.
It's so good. Everything they did with Sunbreaker was like magic as well. I think I like Monster Hunter more than I like Souls, which is insane.
They're very close in the way they play, honestly.
Yeah,
especially the original ones. Yeah.
I have like 10 episodes on Souls games, but none on Monster Hunter, which is maybe I need to change that.
Let's do a
Monster Hunter. Get on that. Get on that.
Monster Hunter, what else? Like, because somebody asked me this the other day, they were like, "What are you excited for?" I was like, "Nothing," because I couldn't name a game that like they had definitively given a date for. Like, I'm really excited for Silksong, but they're just like cock teasing us with that for the last 5 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm not gonna say I'm excited about that. Monster Hunter, definitely. It's not gonna be an announcement, but I'm super hype about Beyond Good and Evil's finally getting a
that's been a long time coming.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, it's finally coming. Okay.
Is it?
Yeah. Okay. Beyond Good and Evil 2. I hope they finally they either tell me, they get up. Jeff Keighley gets up and he says, "All right, Jay, it's me. You're the one Beyond Good and Evil fan. We're here to either tell you that Beyond Good and Evil 2 is coming out, or he'll just put me down slowly and just tell me they've cancelled it, because I need to know. It's killing me."
That's kind of how I feel about Perfect Dark at the moment. Like,
that's been restarted a few times.
They said that they restarted it. Like, will they show us something from it? Like, it's been so long. But the team that they had restarted, like, I don't have any like affection for that team. Like, I mean, I don't have anything against them, but like they've not made anything that I've like generally cared about. And you're supposed to like
Yeah.
reboot one of my favorite games of all time. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's
I don't-
rough.
I don't think there's any game I'm excited for, but I would love to see more from like either Star Wars games. I know Marvel said they were trying to get more into video games, so like
Mhm.
either
Yeah, they're giving
an
out
action,
licenses left and right.
yeah, another Marvel game, or something from Castlevania. It's been a long time since we got a
yes.
Castlevania.
Mhm.
With
Have
the
you
show
heard about what
coming
Konami's been doing with Silent Hill as of late?
Oh god.
I haven't, but I need to know, have they been butchering it?
It's so much worse than you could imagine. Like that Silent Hill Ascension game is essentially like a mobile
Yeah.
pay to play choose your own adventure appointment video series.
Yes. That's also when they introduced it like twice. Everyone was like, but what is it? No one knew what it was.
Nobody knew. I still don't know, and you just explained it to me.
Yeah, that's
I haven't watched. I didn't look at it because I can't.
If,
I got
if
so
you
little
love a
confidence in.
franchise,
No, I'm
if
sorry,
you
go
love a
ahead.
franchise and Konami own it, that franchise is dead. Just move on.
Yeah.
You know, I
and
love Castlevania. I love
Oh,
Castlevania. It's one of
yes.
my favorite series, and that series has been dead for a long time. Like, it just move on.
It's just an
like,
anime
there
now.
are-
It's okay.
Yeah, it's
You
just
know,
anime.
It's just an anime now. It's
The
fine.
the Lords of Shadow, the first one was really good, and then they went a whole different route for Lords of Shadow too. Like they went
Agreed.
like completely. I don't know where they got that from. Like they took a game that had a potential, and they just kind of like went a completely different route. So like, it's sad that Konami has it. Like I wish somebody else would purchase it. But with the
Yeah.
show doing so good, the last two shows, I feel like they have to have something in the works. But I hope like I would love a Souls like Castlevania game.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
It
think
would work.
Castlevania,
Yeah, it would
It's
work.
got the perfect middle ground. I might get butchered for this. I view Castlevania the same way I view Van Helsing, the movie with Hugh Jackman.
Hugh Jackman, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I love that movie.
It's a
I
good
really
movie.
like it.
It's a good
and I
movie.
think it had such an awesome universe to expand into more things and like have more movies and make it a kind of universal monster.
I think that was the plan for
Indiana
it, right?
Jones. That was the thing, but they
Yeah.
never did any more with it. And I view Castlevania like that. There's so many avenues to go into different types of like different routes with it. And Konami are just like, yeah, but it's not Gachapon, so fuck you.
Yeah.
And like, let's move on. Yeah. And like, we're only getting the Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remaster because they already remastered all the cutscenes for their Gachapon machines. So they were like, oh fuck it, we'll do the game.
Yeah, and the trailer, like, it looked nice for Delta, but it also didn't look like they were doing anything interesting. Like the way like Capcom has been doing their Resident Evil remakes, for example. It doesn't look anything like that.
No.
This looks like just a full-on, just get all the graphics up to snuff, and then just the same game as always.
Yeah.
Right.
On that note, I hope they're they keep going with Resident Evil because they've been doing a really good job. Separate Ways was amazing.
How many more are left?
5.
Many?
There's many, but like the next one
Yeah.
is 5, which is the first
Yeah, next is
one
5.
where people really went like this. And
Well, it's also because of all the racism.
Yeah.
Because of all the racism.
Yeah, there were a lot of issues with that one, I guess.
Yeah.
there were lots of issues with that game. I liked it as a kid. I liked it for the action style because I never played any of the previous Resident Evils when I was a kid. So my first Resident Evil ever was 5. So I loved the like campy actionness of it.
Yeah.
But is it? Are they gonna remake it?
Well, I
Like,
mean, has it been long
probably.
enough? Could we get an announcement from Capcom about another RE remake at this thing?
Well, they didn't really need to do 4 because a remake of 4 comes out every other week.
That's true.
So, but they knew people would buy it. But would people buy 5? That's the question.
I mean,
If they
has enough
remade
time
it, I think
passed?
they would. People really like 5. That's the thing. But people are also like, oh, but it's problematic. So if they
But
can
this would be this would be the
make
opportunity
it less
to fix all
problematic,
that, right?
Yeah.
Because they like with 4, they went and fixed like narrative things as well, from what I understand. So like
But like, how
get
could you
you.
do that though? Because the controversy there was, it took place in like Africa, right?
Yeah.
And it was the same thing with 4. It was the thing of like going to a foreign country and killing
Yeah, killing
natives,
hordes
effectively.
of the people who live there. Yeah.
And using them as like zombies and stuff like that. It was like that's very problematic. Like, how would you
Well,
fix 5? Just have it take place in England or
5
something.
was also the fact that they ended up in a place, right, where they were wearing like grass skirts and
Yeah,
you know
Yeah,
like,
bears
they
and
went
like
real
living,
deep.
living
They
yeah,
went
living
real
in
deep into
huts
it.
and shit. So like they can't tone it down but still keep it be Resident Evil. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also,
I mean,
there's plenty white people in Africa.
Yeah, let's kill some white people in Africa.
Yeah. Whatever.
There's also there's also a black character in Resident Evil 5.
Yeah.
They could
Shiva.
make more than half that game just feature Shiva. I don't think
Yeah.
that's her name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Just
know where,
have the
I don't know
game be
where that
about
came.
Shiva.
I
She's
didn't know that.
interesting.
I did not know that girl's name was in my brain.
Yo, apparently you love Resi 5 more than you
Yeah.
realize.
I
did,
guess
yeah.
so.
Chris, and then there was the whole thing with Chris punching that boulder. Remember that?
Yeah, people
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, but
they
like
love-
the whole thing with Wesker at the end of 5 is the best
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Like there's if you fire a rocket launcher in his boss fight, if you fire a rocket launcher at him, he grabs it out of the air and like launches it, and it's just like seamless, and it's like it blew my mind as a kid, and I was like, oh my god, Wesker's a badass.
It's true. Wesker is a badass.
Yeah.
But I think the Resident Evil that needs a remake the most would be 6, because 6 is so bad. It's a terrible, terrible game.
Oh,
Yeah,
just
I
don't
barely
bother.
remember anything about 6.
Just make a new one. Just make a new one.
I mean, yeah, they will have to make it an actual Resident Evil game because it's not that currently. So, like, yeah, just make one.
What if they
Yeah.
combine them? Like the next
How?
remake is Resident Evil
There
5
are already
and
like
6.
7 stories in 6.
5 and a
That
half.
would be mental.
5
That
plus
other
1.
Resident Evil game, the wasn't it like a
There's so
co-op
many.
co-op shooter? It was like
There's a couple co-op shooters.
Operation Raccoon City. Was that what it was called?
Can't remember.
I'm
Where they
pretty
had,
sure
like,
that
I
is
can't,
one of
I
them.
can't remember all the side ones.
There's a bunch of them. Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah, there's so many.
I mean,
They
yeah,
had
they
like a
announced another one of
PvP
those.
option to it.
Yeah, maybe a new one of those. What do you have a list of any that are hinted, like that are rumored to be revealed? You
What,
said you
about-
had a short like
Yeah.
little listy poos.
Yeah, this article here does not make any mention of Resident
Beyond Good and
Evil.
Evil 2. Fuck.
Or Beyond Good and Evil 2. I mean, it does say that there's rumblings of a proper trailer for Hellblade 2 finally, which I would be very excited for, because like I really loved Senua's Sacrifice. I thought it was a super interesting game, and I love Ninja Theory. They make amazing combat, and that game wasn't even very heavily combat based. They kind of like threw like a little bit of combat acumen into it, and it was still pretty fun. I want them to like go all out, basically just give me the DMC style combat system in this game, and like just make it pretty, and I'm happy. But like everything they've shown so far has just been trying to show off like the graphical fidelity,
Yeah.
and you're not telling me what this game is.
No.
Yeah.
So I need a proper gameplay trailer from them. So that is something that I'm definitely hoping for.
Sure.
Also, Perfect Dark. Please show me what that game is now.
I assume another Final Fantasy is coming at some point.
Another. I mean, they just released 16, which
for a
didn't
while.
do too well.
Y-
But I mean,
Ah,
probably.
No,
that
but
because-
they're not gonna stop making Final Fantasy.
Well, yeah, I'm sure. But yo, you know what? Rather than Final Fantasy, it might be about time for whatever that next Kingdom Hearts is to get another like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Showing.
Kingdom Hearts Sora's
True.
Feet.
that's the subtitle. Kingdom Hearts.
Really
Sora's
get to see
Feet.
Sora's feet, and they're not huge. So why is he wearing those big boots, the fucking clown?
Have you heard the idea that world that he's in is a world is like a world, so like he transformed into that world, and that's why his feet aren't big. Like it's not just a super realistic Sora. He's just in a world where your feet aren't that big.
Oh my
Okay, yeah,
God.
no, I dig that. I don't know. I would like to see, because we've not seen much of that Kingdom Hearts. More of like Sora just running up skyscrapers and being chased by Heartless, right? Like,
Yeah. It was
haven't
just that
seen
one
much.
trailer that one time. And when did that air? I don't remember. Was that like a?
Is this Kingdom Hearts 4, or are they?
This would be 4.
Or are they just rebooting it? I hope they just reboot
3.5?
it.
When they revealed it, I'm fairly certain they did call it 4.
Yeah, I remember
Fuckers.
4. Yeah, when they showed him laying in the bed or something
You
like
know what
that.
the
Yeah.
4 stands for?
Yeah.
Oh
Feet.
wait, more Final
Kind of
Fantasy
sounds the same.
7 remake stuff, I assume, will be announced.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's probably a safe
Yeah.
bet. Tariel's asking about next Switch console and maybe Metroid Prime 4, perhaps.
Nintendo would never allow Jeff Keighley.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also feel like
Jeff
no, they
Keighley would have to
wouldn't.
have
That
some
was
sort
one in
of
his pocket.
incriminating evidence
Yeah.
on the Nintendo execs for them to get that. But
got
maybe
the
Metroid
scoop.
Prime 4. Like, that might be
Yeah, maybe.
possible if they
Maybe.
have something to
I
show.
don't know.
That could show up.
Maybe like a
Again,
third
Nintendo will
person,
save it.
like a third-person Mandalorian shooting game, like a PvP game. I'd love that.
Wait,
Yeah.
wasn't there some Star Wars like Overwatch thing that revealed
That was
not
going to be
long
on a
ago?
Switch. That was
Yeah.
going to be like a
Came out,
free-to-play
didn't
thing.
it?
It
And
never
it's
came
gone.
out. Did
That
it?
hasn't come out.
I swear there was like an
It was gonna be a
alpha, and then
mobile and a
nobody
Switch
played
game.
it, so they cancelled it.
Um,
Uh,
I think. Zero says, "Is this the teaser for Kingdom Hearts 3?" Daryl, I'm sorry to say this to you. I think you've been asleep for a couple years. Kingdom Hearts 3 is out.
It's been out for a while now.
It's been out for a hot minute. I have it over there. It's behind me. And it ain't an early copy.
Oh man. Okay. Any other particular pending predictions before we wrap things up? Like, we'll probably get the Elden Ring DLC as a reveal. Like, from
About
Nintendo
time,
always
yeah.
shows something at the Game Awards.
Elden Ring
about time,
reveal, Elden Ring DLC reveal, and then at the very end, you're gonna see the Dragon Slayer sword at the end, and then Miyazaki's gonna come out and he's gonna say, "I love Berserk," and I'm making that Berserk game.
Oh yeah, have you guys watched, since you like Berserk, have you watched the new, was it the Golden Arc movies?
No,
Is
I
that, are
refuse
those
to
good?
watch
Arc?
anything.
Yeah,
that? I
they're
don't
on
know what that is.
Crunchy. They were released not that long ago.
in the
It's-
book series, about a quarter of it is Guts when he's a child. And it's his journey with growing up with Griffith and
those
forming the characters. It's called the Golden Arc, or the Golden Age. And they made a movie. I think they've made a
They made
series and a
3.
movie that's both.
I
Was
think
it
it's 3 movies. Yeah,
3 movies.
Damn.
I believe so.
And I've heard it's not terrible, which is unique for Berserk media.
It's Studio 4C, or however you say it.
Why
That's
is-
a reputable studio.
Yeah, why has this been so hard though? Like, for as influential
Okay.
and good as the
I-
manga story is,
I-
like, why has it been
I
so
can
difficult
tell you
to
this.
adapt it into animation?
I can tell
the
you this,
fans
but I
are
have to say it in
insane.
code. I have to kind of say it in code because some of the things mentioned, some of the things that happen in the book, if I mention them, your Twitch channel will be removed.
No.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
There are things that happen in that book. I'm not just talking about, I'm not going to talk about specific spoilers at all, but like there are very famously massive events that happen in Berserk that are like horrifically terrible. Like some of the darkest stuff you could think of that could happen to a human happens multiple times in that story.
Gotcha.
But there are tiny things that happen to do with assault and like stuff that happens to children. That is very, 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 very important to the characters and how they progress and giving you justification for why they are the way they are. And if you remove that, which a lot of these shows do because they don't want to show
Yeah,
that
'cause
stuff, which is
censors
very
and-
understandable,
right.
it makes everyone feel very boring and like generic. And it sounds weird that you need that stuff for context, but the books do it themselves. So like the first like half of the first book, Guts, the main character, seems incredibly generic. He is big man, don't touch me, I have a big sword, and he's very mean, and he kills demons. And then after that, it flashes back to his childhood. I think you pick up from when he was 9 through to when he goes into his 20s. And the stuff that happens to him, after you come out of that arc, you fully understand why Guts is the way he is.
Right. Okay.
And it's incredible. And because of that, they never show this stuff. And it just makes it very generic and boring. And also, Miura's drawings have so much movement and like life in them. Guts can swing a sword and it has more energy in it in the panel drawings than like any anime I've ever seen. It's unbelievable. And
Wow.
it's very hard to capture that. And when you look at them side by side, it just never compares. So the animation's usually terrible. They can't actually delve into the proper subtext of the story because it's all horrible. Yeah, I cannot understate how much I love that series. I literally have 2 tattoos of Berserk now. I've got
You got another one. Okay. Yeah, I remember seeing that one.
I've got these as well, which are golem
Nice.
runes from which
Nice.
are magic runes. The best series I've ever read. I adore it. Berserk game, come on, not Miura, he's dead. Rip. Come on, Miyazaki, you can do it. Do it for Miura. You love ripping off his shit, so just make the game.
I mean, do you do you think that stuff would pass like the ESRB or Peggy? Like,
the thing is like you can hint towards it, and I think the being able to play, because like there's a chapter in the book where Guts and this girl called Casca find themselves removed from the party, and like 100 soldiers come and find them, and they're both injured, and Guts basically has to kill 100 people. And this isn't some fantasy world where he can cast magic and like well it does become that later, but like at this point it's very like if you get stabbed in the leg you're done, like you're dead, right? And he has to fend off 100 people, and I could see like a portion of the game being you have to fight 100 people. There's lots of scenes in that where it could very easily transition into a game. If Miyazaki doesn't do it, I'll find someone else. Fuck you, Miyazaki. I'll find the guys who made I'll find the guys
Lord
who
of the
did
Fallen guys.
Lord of the Fallen.
Yeah.
And say, hey, can you fuck this up as well?
Oh man,
I just want to see it. I'm so eager. That and Beyond Good and Evil 3. 2.
Yeah, let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're already asking a lot. So all right, on that note, any last lingering predictions for the Game Awards? Anything you like, just pie in the sky dreams you want to see, or something that you predict we will absolutely see? No?
No.
All right.
No.
We can wrap things up. That's going to do it for episode 124. Before I get into our ending spiel, I just want to remind everybody that we are still doing our little contest here, where if you can guess the name of this episode before I post the podcast on my Twitter, you will get a video game code. Otherwise, if you just rate the show on whatever podcast listening service that you're listening to, and just send me proof, like a screenshot, a DM, however you can get it to me, you're entered into a random drawing to win a game code. I should probably announce who won the last code. Hold on. I gotta look. I did not write it down. But
You're doing great, Casey. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I'll find it. I promise. Shit. Oh, okay. Leonardo Dominguez. You will be
Nice.
getting a code sent to you for rating the show. Congratulations.
Congrats.
So yeah, we're gonna keep doing this for as long as we got codes to give away. The second one was gifted like thousands of codes, so like there's gonna be stuff to give away. So enter and try to win. Like I'm not gonna like I am selecting this at random, and I'm gonna keep like if you enter like 1 week, you're still in a drawing. So it's gonna get harder to win over time. So you want to hurry up and try to get your ratings as soon as possible, because I'm just gonna keep drawing from the same pool of people until that becomes like just a dumb idea. But hope you guys enjoyed the show. Honey Money, where can folks find you on the internet? What do you have coming up?
On twitch.tv/realhoneymoney. I'm just like cycling through Far Cry 5, Spiritfarer, and Night in the Woods currently. So I stream. That's all I do.
Nice.
You know. Yeah.
Jay, where can folks find you? What do you have coming up that they can check out?
Second Wind on all of the platforms. I My Design Delve series has, if you haven't seen it yet, has come with us to Second Wind.
Yeah.
I have three
Yeah.
episodes out now. I feel like I've really I don't know. I feel like I've hit my stride. Like I'm really happy with the content I'm putting out. So much so that I finished the script today for Friday's video, which is the worst puzzle of all time.
Yeah, I remember you
And-
talking about this before.
Oh God.
Oh my god, this is like I thought this video was going to be ranty. Like, I'm contemplating having the episode end with me like passing out and having Ludo like drag me out because I really go hard. To the point where I think Nick's gonna message me and say, "Is this bullying? Like, should we not put this out?" Because yeah, I'm ripping this puzzle apart. So look forward to that. That's gonna be coming out on Friday. Unless something goes horrifically wrong. On Second Wind, and also on Thursday on my Twitch channel, Twitch TV / Design Delve. It's going to be my birthday, so we're going to be doing a birthday stream. We're going to be doing giveaways of game codes and party games, and maybe watching some of my first ever videos I made, which are incredibly cringe. So if that's something you're interested in, I'll see you Thursday. But yeah, that's me.
Sweet. Superman Jeff, where can folks find you? What do you have coming up that they can check out, if anything?
Oh man, I don't have much going on. Just hang out in the Discord. I got finals for me this week, so I'll just be finishing up those, and then potentially be back next week with something. Probably do some Cyberpunk, Phantom Liberty, but this week just finishing up some my last 2 finals.
Sweet. Good luck.
Thank you.
As for me, you guys can find me at Sigma Gears 9 here on Twitch and everywhere else on the internet. Later today, Jeff, I believe, will be joining me for Super Smash Sunday over on the Open Party Twitch channel. That's King of the Hill style Smash, 1v1s, no items, none of that baby nonsense like Smash balls.
No fun, just
plays
sweaty.
with Smash balls. Get out of here.
Sweaty.
Hella sweat. All the sweat. But aside of that, I've been doing some more recent solo streams here and there. I'll be trying to do more of those in general. But like I mentioned, I'll also be starting up a new stream series with my fiance, as we'll be trying to raise money towards our wedding. So that should be fun. We'll be playing like co-op related things. Or I'll be trying to show her specific, like maybe I'll have her try to do like a full playthrough of something. You guys can help us decide if you come through and hang out. We'll set up goals for us to try to achieve money-wise. And it's already been hinted at. Some folks are trying to get me to dress up in Wario cosplay at my wedding.
Oh.
This is something I do not want to do for numerous reasons. But one, like, it's my fiance. So a lot of people in my fiance family will see me for the first time and not understand what the hell I do for a living. And for me to have to explain this to them would be mortifying. So if it's something you guys are serious about, I'll put it on the list. It'll be a stupid high number. But I'll put it on a list.
Like what do people have to pay you, Casey,
I don't know.
for this embarrassment? You have to think about this.
We'll figure it out. Like, I can't just set the number. Like at some point, once the stream starts, my fiance's on stream with me. Like she'll hear this nonsense as well.
Let her set the number.
Yeah, because she very much will not want something like this to happen.
And she's got pink eye now.
Yeah. So like just the bad news keeps coming.
Oh God.
But yeah, so it'll be fun. Like I'll let you know exactly when that starts. Maybe next week at the earliest, but I'll give you advance notice when that stuff starts. But that's gonna do it for episode 124 of the Sigma Show. We hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks everybody in chat. It's been fun as always. Thank you to my 3 hosts. We'll see you in the future. Peace.
Bye.
See ya.